I don't know. He said Roger Ebert only gave it 1.5 stars. He was so concerned about this factor. Why do you think critics or mainstream, let's clarify that, mainstream American critics were a little bit unkind to Silent Hill when it first came out? A little bit, yeah.
Well,
Why do you think that is that maybe the average American Joe wouldn't get the vibe of this movie?
it depends if you want to see a film or if you want to see a movie.
Right.
That was a film.
How do you feel seeing it on the big screen? When's the last time you saw this projected?
I've actually never seen it on the big screen.
What?
Yeah. I saw it in Christoph's office right when he was doing the final mixing, and saw it on Blu-ray.
Really?
Yeah.
Obviously, you had a positive experience watching it. You can see your face.
Oh no, it was fun. It was just saying, it seemed like a million years ago.
That's right. And it's funny because I've seen this twice, all on the big screen. This is the second time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it does feel like a million years ago. Long time. I don't even know who these people are.
I forgot you were Colin the janitor, right?
I know, I was the slimy guy.
You were the slimy guy who knocked her up, I presume knocked her up. It's kind of ridiculous, but we presume you're the man.
I know, Christoph was really impressed with my sliminess.
Some of the, and again, first time watching this movie, not expecting what it was going to be, anticipating it was going to be a point A to point B to point C horror film, when it was something entirely different. As I say, a nightmare tapped. But some of the greatest movie monsters, definitely of this past decade, if not ever. The Nurses are a favorite of young ladies on Halloween everywhere. Talk a little bit about The Nurses, Paul, and designing and creating those.
Well, The Nurses are weird because originally Patrick had made the faces. He'd made 3 hero faces, which are like, you can see up close, and then 17 faces that you're not supposed to see up close. And he'd sent them all up to Toronto, and the costumes were being done by Wendy Partridge. So Wendy had a crew, and she was playing around with some materials, and I think it was about 2 weeks before we were going to shoot. She turns around to me and she says, so I'm probably not going to do the costumes now, so you can do it. Okay. So not only did I have to kind of make the 17 not so good faces good for close-up, because Christoph wanted to see them all in close-up, I had to also make the costumes. And then making 20 costumes in 2 weeks, it wasn't easy. But we made them well enough that we used them again in the second movie.
Yeah, all right.
It was great. We just repainted them. Michael wanted to tighten them up a little bit, which was great because we did make it in a rush. So we got to repaint them and refit them and re-custom fit them on the new girls. And we had a different batch of girls second time around.
Yeah, I mean the majority for the second time. I know we can't talk too much about the second movie. I hear. We had a bunch of dancers this time around. In this one, the majority were expert movers, but I would say the majority were strippers. So the joy of painting their bodies that day.
20 girls complaining while sweating off the makeup every 2 seconds.
Yeah, that was really memorable for Paul Jones and his crew.
Yeah, you walk into a trailer and there's all these girls spread eagled in their underwear, being covered in shaving cream at the end of the day.
And he
like
hated
sitting
it.
in Hawkins or something. It's really
He hated it.
I did, actually.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to paint all these girls' bodies. And then at the end of the 3 days, they're like, that was a fucking nightmare. And the second time around, everybody forgot how bad it was. So here we are again, painting the bodies. Everyone's going, I thought this would be fun. This is a fucking nightmare. It really is hard work. I mean, it sounds like fun, but when you're up there doing this for like 15, 16 hours a day, remember, I'm the guy who's in first, and I'm the guy who leaves last. I'm like next to security. I'm like the guy doing the 4-hour makeup call and the hour and a half. I mean, Roberto was lucky because the first time around, we had a 3-hour makeup call for him each time we played Red Pyramid, because his body was glued on. Second time around, I thought, let's simplify that. So we made body suits for him. You can just climb into it, and we just blend the hands and blend the head. And
in less than 20 minutes, we were ready.
25 minutes, and it was great.
So let me tell you, it's quite a difference in dealing with patients. I learned how to be patient in the first
We also learned how to sleep in the
Right, because
we landed shot one day, and we didn't have enough time to take off the makeup and to put it back on again before we shot the next day. So Roberto, he powdered him and wrapped him in saran wrap, and he just fell asleep in the makeup in his trailer. And then,
you powdered and wrapped him in saran wrap as part of the process, or was that just for kicks?
No, it just was like, what's my safety blanket? So that's how I use it.
And have you carried that over to your civilian life as well, Roberto? When I was a kid, I just got to interject here. When I was a kid growing up, reading the magazine, I'm running Fango, the special effects guy was a rock star. And they literally were. The long hair, I think of Rob Bottin back then. I wanted to be these guys, and we all did. Things have changed a little bit. Things have changed. You're still a rock star in many of our eyes, but why has it changed? Why has it changed?
It's what you say, actually, because I have this problem with, I'm going to say kids. I'm in my 40s, so I can call them kids if you're 20 or younger. Basically, when I started out, I just wanted to do the work, right? And I started kind of late. I started in '86. So there's guys who started before me with Baker's Robert teams, and I was like the third batch, I guess. When we were doing it, we're doing it for the work. We're doing it to make molds, sculpt, paint. I still get a thrill opening a mold for the first time, pulling out foam skin, right? It's really fucking cool. I've been doing it for over 25 years, and I really still enjoy it. When I started out, I just wanted to do the work. There was no such thing as an effects guy. What's happened now is, because myself and the guys came before me, and all the guys I came up with, the Dave Elseys and the Mark Cuviers and the Gordons, we've kind of created this moniker, this effects guy thing. So now I'm seeing a lot of 20-year-olds want to get into the industry, and they just want to be effects guys. And I'm like, but just do the work, then you'll be an effects guy. And they kind of got it ass backwards. It's a real shame, because just doing the work will make them what they want to be, instead of wanting to be this rock star. It's all about the work you bring.
Just before I turn the mic over to you guys, again, one thing you do see in Silent Hill is a blend of both your work practical and also the CG. What are your thoughts about, it's the cliche question that everyone asks you, I'm sure, but use of CGI special effect versus practical?
Sometimes it's needed.
Is that you? Is that your job? Do you incorporate that?
It's easier now, because knowing what CG can do, you can design a printer suit knowing it's going to need tweaking. So you can save money, essentially, building a suit out of foam rubber, painting it a certain way. But at the end of the day, rubber's rubber. You have to be a great photographer. You have to be a great lighting. You've got to create the illusion. You can't just expect the suit to do everything for you. The thing about the first movie, The Grey Child especially, did not look like that when we came on set. It was a very pale suit covered in veins. There was no glowing embers to it. All that was done in post, and that was something that we didn't know was going to happen until we saw the movie. I was quite surprised. I knew there was going to be so many of them. We made one suit, and Yvonne wore it, and we just kept shooting pass after pass after pass of her coming in from different directions and different angles and different movements. They just kind of contoured together. But all that kind of glowing, kind of volcanic ash kind of thing, that was all added in post. Same with the armless guy, the guy in the scrapyard, who seems to be a big favorite. The suit was slimmed down considerably. I mean, the guy...
The legs.
Yeah, the legs. Who was in the suit? Michael, yeah. He was fantastic in the suit. All the movements you see on screen are him. But there were certain elements of the suit that didn't work aesthetically, like his hips and his legs were way too human. It was essentially just a big condom just pulled over his body with kind of a rib piece he put his arms in. He actually had like a vac form respirator with a hose coming out, basically his ass when you shot him from the front, and from his crotch when you shot him from the back. And there's a little shot in the making of actually where I'm cutting down the hose, and I can't find my kind of tooth cutter, so I just pull out a penknife and I'm like carving through this hose pipe like an inch from his leg. It's the most unprofessional shot ever. But you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, so he was kind of slimmed down, but the colors and the movements were all like.
Any questions about the monsters, Silent Hill? Yeah, yes, over here.
I was fortunate enough to see one of the field tests of the Red Pyramid or Pyramid Head on Silent Hill 1, and he kind of was tweaked and changed a little bit. And I was just wondering, how does that process happen? Is it a bunch of people saying this works or it doesn't, or is it you, the artist, going this doesn't work and trying to make it fit? And you're talking about the hero suit and stunt suits too.
Well, essentially, I have a little bit of input, but a lot of that decisions are made leading up to the day of shooting. So it's very rarely we get to set and they go, "Oh, this really doesn't work," because if that's the case, then I haven't been doing my job and no one's been paying any attention. So half of my job is when it gets to shooting, everybody's seen it and everybody's happy with it. It's 50% what I do is art. The other 50% is the commercial side, which is doing it on time and for the money and making sure that people who are paying you are happy with it. And if you don't make both of those sides of the coin as important as each other, you'll go out of business.
But if I can add upon what he's just saying, what I want to add is you and him, is that it's there is an element also that Paul is great about is the fact that in the second one he has improved a lot on all the whining and complaining of with the first suit that I was wearing. So he's just not. It's not just a commercial for the money, but he's also a good listener to what talent really needs in order for his or her performance to be good. So yeah, thanks. You're good.
Well, it's that's the beauty of doing a sequel. Yeah, and having similar creatures or the same creature essentially in a sequel is you've done it once, you know what works and what doesn't, and that's half the battle. There's nothing better than being able to rebuild something. Because remember, everything you see on screen is a prototype. It's very rare you get to build more than one. So you build it hoping it's going to work based on your ability or your experience or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't work. Most of the time it does, but having a second movie to work on is great, because we saw the things the first time around and we went, well, aesthetically it looks great, but it's a pain in the ass to glue on, it's a pain in the ass to take off, didn't last very long, it was too heavy, so it was nice to get to redo some stuff in the second movie.
Anyone else out there? I was curious about Pyramid Head and when Pyramid He's a guy with a pyramid on his head, yeah, but there's a performance there. And you think of the great movie Monsters, you think of Karloff, these people that don't speak barely a line of dialogue. You think of the first Frankenstein, no lines of dialogue. It's a physical performance, you empathize with him. Obviously, we don't empathize with Red Pyramid. He's a monstrosity, he's a demon, he's a force of nature. But for you, as a point of reference, creating what is essentially a mute boogeyman. What was your point of reference? What were you trying to mine? What were you trying to think of when you were making this guy?
Well, with the Red Pyramid, you have the video game movement already as it is, so you have a reference there to start with. And me not being a gamer, I was given clips by Christophe of how the Red Pyramid, and not just only the Red Pyramid, the nurses as well, because I was coordinating the movement of the rest of the creatures as well. So I was on set as crew member and as talent. So I was given those clips to have a look at how a pyramid head would move. So that helped a lot. We had really long conversations with Christophe as well, because ultimately you're there either as a movement coordinator or as a talent as well to translate the director's vision as well. So of course they have their own input, and I would say part of it is my experience in background as of course being in dance for a long time. That of course that kind of element of personal creativity in it makes the full performance, and it's just only It's a physical performance. Now, once you put the stilts on, the helmet on, the suit, and the skirt, and everything else, it's a different ball game altogether. But you know, you train and rehearse for that.
Yeah, Paul.